Salute, MobTube. How is everybody tonight? A U.S. Army combat medic? No, it's not what you think. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Um, I appreciate that too. Thank you for your service, by the way. I wanted to come on for a little while and talk to you guys again. I'm feeling a little bit better now. I've been getting calls and text messages for the last few hours. And nope, I'm not going to come on here and it's not my plan to come on here and trash Tony or anything. I know AB, it is fucking amazing. Hi, Stacy, Bobby, Red, Yankees for Life, Mobland, Looking for the Truth, Common Sense, U.S. Army Combat Medic. Hello, everybody. I'm not gonna, most likely not gonna do anything crazy tonight. I'm going to give it my best shot, TT, the Norwegian. Bad Golfer, Andrew Gray, salute. Pasha Morris, what's up? Emmanuel Spatera, buonasera. John DeLuca, how are you, my friend? I was going to try to come see you, not this past, wait, was it this past? Yeah, this past weekend. I do have my questions, though. I don't know for sure if it's you, the real John DeLuca. But feel free to email me. I'd love to talk to you. fatbalditallion@gmail. Jesse, what's up? Brooklyn Rob. Eric NY, what's up? Jordan Canada. Carlos Muniz. Dr. Vinny Boombots. The fucking doctor says take it easy. So, of course, I've been getting text messages and emails, phone calls since Tony was on Lee's show earlier. And some people are upset about different things that took place on that show. Understandable completely. I just, like I said, I'm doing my best to keep control, guys. I'm trying hard. Usa. Gotta count to 10 sometimes. fatbalditallion@gmail, John DeLuca. I know. No, Carlos, yeah, I don't care about anything. Well, I didn't watch the show, so I don't know. I do know he trashed Shanna a little bit more on the show. Lee certainly didn't do anything to stick up for Shanna, but I wouldn't expect him to. I'll just say that as far as Tony, I got some advice, you know what I mean, from some people. Eugene, I've been on for 3 minutes and 43 seconds, moron. Leave. Just leave. You're watching, so you're one of my viewers. Thank you. I keep hearing that my views are in the gutter. Apparently, people aren't looking at my views. But, I've been thinking and I took some advice, and I'm gonna do this the smart thing here. No. See, Eugene, you have it backwards. He's claiming without evidence that he is who he says he is. See? I don't have to prove he's not what he is. He has to prove that he is what he says he is. That's how this works. If you're the one making the claim, you have the burden of proof. Jimmy Calandra at Bath Avenue says Tony Pizza is a hemorrhoid. Uncle Junior, aka Mr. Magoo. We haven't had a mob tube since the FBS and league. A mob tube since the FBS and league whole thing. Tony Peach ain't willing to hit the mattresses this day and age. Shit. So, Ryan Lucido. Let's see. I don't know. I got one. If I got which one right. No, listen. If I come out and tell you I was this, or this, then it's my job to prove that I was. That's all it is. It's nobody else's job to prove that I'm not what I say I am. They can do that, but you know. So I make the statements I make based on a lack of evidence. See, it's kind of like A-Light. We can say that A-Light lies about a lot of stuff because we have no proof that he's telling the truth. So therefore, the lack of proof, I know what you're saying, but it's not a court of law, Ryan. The lack of proof sometimes is the proof. You understand? It's pretty simple to figure out. That's funny, son of Hawaii. Yeah, that's all it is. The lack of proof is proof. You can't be somebody in that life who got in trouble and shit and you're never heard about. It's impossible. But that's not what I'm here for. What is it? I have no idea, Ryan, but it's not a court of law. I don't know. It's MobTube. But I'm going to do things the smart way, guys, based on some advice I took today and from some thinking I did. I am going to, I know Rolex and race cars, I know. I am going to do some things behind the scenes. I'm going to be a little sneaky here. And, no, Jonathan, Tony Toilet Paper. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some things behind the scenes. I did some research today, even though I already had some information that was emailed to me. I based it off that information, actually. And I found some interesting things and interesting people and phone numbers and names and stuff like that. So I'm going to... there's going to be a new rule. You fuck with somebody close to me, I fuck with somebody close to you. And I'm hoping that I will be having a very good, very interesting interview in the near future. I'm definitely going to work on it. The bra shit. Yeah, it's corny. So I have a feeling, guys, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling tonight might wind up being an interesting night as well. Probably not as interesting as last night, but I think it'll be interesting. I could be wrong. It's not just up to me. Bigger boat. Tony Pizza is trying to be like the Iceman, claiming to be some BS mafia hitman. Yeah. And the same thing with the Iceman. You know, we found out that 90% of what he said was bullshit. Every Pizza Jaw simp is watching, of course. Common sense, I must say, last night was beyond entertaining. I know. It was beyond exhausting, too. So, let's see. Jimmy Clanger, Beth Avenue story. You need to pick and choose your friends wisely. Lots of garbage cans on YouTube. Trash. Of course. Absolutely. Without a doubt. We're finding that out more and more by the day. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I hear Tony Pizza was an interior decorator. Pine Barrens, great episode. Is that interview going to be with a woman from Long Island? Maybe. Or Florida. You look like you wanted to stab everyone on the chat, FBS. Not everyone. Not everyone. But I did a pretty good job at staying calm. I was pretty relaxed most of the time. I snapped for a split second, but it happens. Tony Pizza said he knew Sonny Franzese. Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Oh, look at this. This is an interesting claim. Eugene, Tony's existence on YouTube intimidates you because he's a mob insider and not a rat. 1.3 in a week. He knows Sammy. His existence puts you lower on the rung of shows, and that's your real issue. You couldn't possibly be more wrong, Eugene, but if you'd like to believe that, no problem. You can believe that. But already in your statement, and this is how I know you're a Tony Pizza simp, you lied right in your comment. 1.3 in a week. What are you, fucking crazy? What are you talking about, bro? He's been on a long fucking time. First of all, let's remember, the dude started on YouTube months ago. Not long after I started. I think he said it was 2 weeks after I started. I got 1,000 subscribers in 12 days. Fucking Tony hit 1,300 like a week or so ago, and even his newest channel, the one that hit 1,300, has been on for, I'd say, at least a month and a half, 2 months. So you're just lying. That's not a week, 1.3 in a week. Okay. Yeah, right. And now, even with going on all these shows, he's still stuck at 1,300. So his existence puts me lower on the rung. No, I don't. I'm not a homeless guy in a car. If I was a dirty, filthy, homeless scumbag in a car who did shows only talking about one specific person, only shows talking about one specific person, then I guess Tony would be some competition to me. And a mob insider, Eugene, you are a cult member, bro. You are a fucking moron. You're talking about a guy you have no proof was ever involved in the life. At best, he knew some people, which no big deal. If you hung out in Brooklyn back then, you probably did. Lots of people did. A mob insider, you're crazy. And not a rat? How do we know? Let me ask you something, Eugene. We have more proof that he's a rat than we do that he's not a rat. This guy claims to have been in prison for 4 years. No record of it. Nobody can find a record of it anywhere. Then I heard on Lee's show earlier, he said when Lee asked him, what prison were you in? Couldn't answer. He said, oh, I've been in prison in, I think he named 6 different states, like Missouri, Tennessee, Florida, New York. I believe it was 6 different states. And he said he did a total of 4 years. Okay. Now, unless within 4 years you kept getting locked up in 6 different states, the only other way you'd be in 6 different prisons in 6 different states is if you were in the feds. Search him up with whatever name you want. He was never in the feds. Matter of fact, I never even heard him claim he was in the feds. And there's no Tony Caruana, no Anthony Caruana, no Anthony Kelso, no K with a K, with a C, with a W, without a W. He's not. There's no proof. Now, the only people I know of that you can't find a prison record of when they were in prison were rats, because they keep them protected. They don't put their information on the inmate locators. Now, do I think he's a rat? If he says he was in prison and we know he wasn't, probably. Otherwise, no, not really. And I'll tell you why. I don't think he was connected enough to anybody to rat on. First, he said he was in prison for 13 years. He's a liar. To all my subscribers, if you see Tony Pizza, eat him on the spot. Exactly. Read comment. Oh, did I miss a comment? Common sense? What comment? Are you saying you read a comment? I don't know. I'm very confused. Mm-hmm. All right. This is what it comes down to. We have more proof that he wasn't in the mob than we have proof that he was in the mob, and we have more proof that he was a rat than proof that he wasn't a rat. So, and guys, I didn't start this tonight. This is what you guys are talking about, so I'm just joining in. I tried to be civil last night so I don't catch a case, point blank, bottom line. Yeah, I hear you, Damien, but there's a good chance I'm going to catch one. Let's see. Let's see what... I don't know. But yeah, I'll tell you what, like, I think most people could tell you what prisons or jails they were in. How much time they did in each, stuff like that. It's just another part of the bullshit story, guys. He's a fraud. Okay, RA, sure I am. I'm the one reaching, right? Yeah, okay. Of all the people, I'm the one reaching. Let's see. And no, it's not, it's just that it came to me once I realized that, oh my God, you can't find this guy anywhere. No record of him in any prison, but he says he was in prison. There's only one answer for that. Not one person in jail could be found. No one. Nope. Let's see. Yeah, I know, Lexi. Well, we're just the same fans with different names. He went to prison in Gotham. See if he spent time at Riverhead, FBS. Listen, I checked Florida. I checked New York. Now he says Missouri, Tennessee. I'll check those too. But he wasn't in prison. He wasn't in jail. 4 years. He said 4 years in 6 different states. How? Unless you were in the feds and you were on some crazy, intense diesel therapy. How? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Let's see. He's not in New York, PA, or Florida system. Nope. Oh, Maine. Did he say Maine? I'll check that out too. Maine, absolutely. FBS, at least you have Pizza Simps watching now. Oh, and Ali, my hero, said in a comment on an earlier video, he came up with a solution for something. Now, Ali is not here, and I'm not going to speak for him, but if he comes on, maybe he'll tell you what his plan is. Has nothing to do with Tony at all, but for something else. Yeah, well, listen, I'm not surprised by anybody's actions anymore. Jimmy Clandro, Bath Avenue story. I know he never came to Bath Avenue back in the day. He would have been on my indictment as a victim. Yeah, listen, guys, he probably, hung around some people, like a lot of guys in Brooklyn did. But all I'm saying is, it's funny when people say that somebody is definitely not a rat. How do you know? Unless you knew them your whole life, you were around them their whole life. How do you know? And even then, you don't know. People do shit on the low. People don't have to testify and stuff. They can give information. You say Tiny Pizza isn't real, and I admit he's a chooch, but your friend Vinny and the other guy were co-signing him. Well, Vinny and the other guy are too nice, and they know that. I asked Vinny earlier, and I asked Vinny earlier when he was on, isn't it a possibility that he just knew a couple of guys and wasn't involved in the life at all? And Vinny said, of course. They were being way, way too nice. They were so worried about peacemaking, that they weren't. They were letting it cloud their judgment a little bit. Don't forget when he claimed he was on his way to Phoenix to whack Sammy and got pinched in Utah with a machine gun. I know, and I said that to him last night. He said, when did I say a machine gun? I never said a machine gun. See, that's why you can't lie that much, because then you forget your lies. Pizza almost doxed himself showing his ID to the camera. Yeah, well. Mustache Pete, FBS, you will do great with whatever direction you take, brother. I do hope you eventually humiliate that clown. Eventually? I've been doing it for weeks. But it's going to get worse. Research, my friend. Tony did the shit walk with Andy from Shawshank. It was a Florida ID. Yeah, I heard. Oh, I got all that now, all that information. So it's all good. What's up, Todd Father? Sorry I didn't text you back earlier. I was trying to crash for a little. Is that right? That's funny. Dummy. Let's see. If he had a machine gun, he would have sold it for drugs. He's a bum. Oh, shit. I know. He said he paid to get his records hidden. Since when is that a thing? Raymundi, I'm not going to get into that right now. The only weapon Pizza has now is a Swiss Army knife. Is that the one he was picking his teeth with today? Jesus. Tony Pizza grinds his jaw with those pinned pupils. I know, but he never did drugs. By the way, I know these guys don't understand this because they're reaching for anything to make fun of a person about. But this shit about getting out of rehab, guys, I don't know what world you're from, but that's commendable. Maybe not having been a drug addict, but actually going to rehab to get yourself some help and then turning your entire life around. That's actually pretty commendable. I give credit to anybody who does that. Especially if the person saying it is an active addict, whether it's alcohol or drugs. And Tony's on camera drunk so fucking much that, he's the last person who should be talking about addiction. Did I just say Persian? I sounded like him. Oh, shit. Let's see. What else we got? This is what I'm supposed to do right now. You tell me what you think. Vinny wants me to come on his show for a minute. You want me to go on his show while I stream this live? It'll be fun. Fat bald Sicilian, lots of phony bastards on this YouTube. Guys playing both sides, whispering in the scumbag's ears. Real cornballs. Oh, I know. There's some of them in here right now. I know. I pay attention to things, definitely. Damien. Yeah, he was saying he paid to get his record expunged, but lives in a car. LOL. I know. I know. Could you imagine? And listen, if you were in prison for 4 years, you ain't getting that expunged. No fucking way. Whatever it is, it ain't getting expunged. I don't even know who Tony is. All I know is FBS, Calandra, and Sammy. There you go. Who is this Tony character? That's what we've been trying to find out. Nobody knows. Isn't it funny that nobody knows, that nobody can co-sign this guy and be like, yeah, he was this, he was that. Sammy was on the phone. You know what I mean? Never did he say, hey, listen, you're a real dude. You're a street guy. You're a mob guy. Isn't there anyone who could come on and tell us who he was, what his position was, what he did? Oh, we know there's no chance of that, bad golfer. Lots of very sneaky YouTubers. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see something real quick. Stick with me, guys. How do I find this? Like that.
Okay. Yeah, and then now it's running the show.
All right, guys.
How are you, Joe?
Yeah, ready?
Like pull over because I'm gonna wind up freaking getting into it. There's no freaking street lights in
177 in the room.
Like where
not
I
bad.
live. I almost hit a deer last night.
I thought there were too many people on, and created sort of like a mob crowd mentality, and everyone was just going after each other.
Yeah. The thing is,
nothing productive came out of that.
You guys hear me?
We're good.
Yep. Okay, Chris.
Yep.
Salute, fellas.
What's
Hey,
up,
hey,
Chris?
How you
So
doing?
I was just saying, if you're living by the code of the streets like Tony does, and if someone who we looked at as a mentor, if they saw this, I can't imagine they wouldn't say, "Don't go after wives." And if he really lives like he says he does in the code of the street, he should say, "Well, okay, my mentor wouldn't agree with it. I'm not acting according to like a wise guy or whatever. It's off limits." And that's what I'm saying. Josie, I'm not forgetting about you. I'm just saying this has been a problem a lot longer than what you perceived last night. I'm not saying you were wrong perceiving it. I'm saying this is an ongoing thing. Yours was last night. So, yeah, I think that I don't think he's ever going to apologize. Well, he did apologize on your show, but I don't know what the answer is.
He has short-term memory, then. He'll apologize, and the next day he goes back to the same playbook.
Absolutely.
I did want to shout out to Josie. I was on while some of the fiasco was going on, but I lost my audio. But I was yelling at him to cut it off while Damien spoke up. But I just wanted to let Josie know that I had her back, and I was screaming at him because I woke up my whole family upstairs while I was screaming. But that's another story.
I spoke to her today. Well, I texted her. I said, I emailed her. I said, listen, I'm sure you asking me, we're not racist here. And she said, no, I'll come on. She knows we're not. It's the trolls that start the bullshit. But Chris, I'm sorry. What did you want to say?
Well, listen, and hi, Joe and Shinebox. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Absolutely, you too. Just let's not, sugarcoat it at all. I mean, regardless of who he was connected to or who would like it or not like it, we're all men here. Who trashes a woman? You got to be a fucking scumbag to do it, period.
I agree.
Any woman. Any woman. You know what I mean? You don't, unless this is just the most despicable human being on earth you're talking about, you don't trash a woman. So I wouldn't agree with it no matter who it was. But so, you got a point, Vinny. I know exactly what you're saying, but bottom line is it should be off limits no matter what. You just don't do it. That's not what a man does anyway. It's what a coward does.
You're not supposed to, right? But I'm saying even in the street where that behavior wouldn't be tolerated if you're involved with the organization, that we all have had some kind of reference with Joe Bayes has, and we've come from Bensonhurst. And Chris, you were in the street, so you met serious guys. Might not have been mobsters, but they were guys that maybe were quicker to the draw than a mobster.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, and they just, everyone is someone's mother, and everyone is also someone's son or daughter. And just to think that you're saying those things about a woman, and a woman that never said anything to you, I can see, and it's wrong anyway. A woman hits your car and you get out, she starts cursing you out, and then that's not right. But someone that's never said a word to you that you've never even met because you don't like the husband, that's a little too far for me. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. I don't.
I think the only thing, Chris, obviously you're not a punk and you're not backing down. But if you keep addressing him on your show, you're just wasting time.
Oh, I agree.
Let him just do what he's going to do. He's not hurting you. He's not, physically, or you have a lot going for you. You're a smart guy. You're charismatic. If the shows are getting bogged down with all this back and forth, he ain't stepping to you.
No.
So then it's just, just keep it moving, bro.
No, I agree. You're right, Joe. Absolutely. And I
it's very tough, though. It's very, very tough because he brought your old lady into it, or your mom, or this or that. I know.
Both.
But, you know what I mean? But and the way we are is like, well, let's do this. But honestly, where is it heading?
I know. It wouldn't be a good idea to catch a case over a fucking homeless scumbag. But
it's just headed nowhere.
Yeah. By the way, Joe, I like the Thug Life book in the background. It's a good book.
Yeah, I'm a big Tupac fan.
Absolutely, me too, man. Gunsmoke as well. He loves him. So yeah.
I'm breaking up, but I missed your prior comment. I just wanted to simply say that there's a certain etiquette, whether it's just the basic etiquette that you don't attack women, you don't say anything about women, or else you're going to get a bat at your face. You get away with it now, but you won't be able to do that where I come from. And as far as being in, like Vinny was saying, being in the life, you would never ever do that. There's a certain way, like Jimmy was saying, that a wise guy acts and presents himself and says things. It just doesn't add up.
I just keep on thinking. I'm sorry. Keep on thinking of Anthony Quinn in the Gotti movie. Try doing that in front of Mr. Neal. See what he do to you. I don't care if you were made. If you had a button, and I'm not an expert on the streets, but if you had a button and a guy danced and went after another button because of that, I think you get a pass. I don't think you can't kill the wise guy, but I think if you went to town on him and you're not supposed to touch another made guy, and this was at the table and this came out, what do you think? I think you get a pass for this.
Yeah,
defending someone, I do.
Absolutely.
What else could he say about you, Chris? He really doesn't know you, so he's going to try to.
That's what it is.
He's going to try to touch the things that are closest to you. You know what I mean? He knows that strikes a nerve with you.
Yeah, and I know it's wrong, but that effectively gives me the right to do this back to him now. So, if I decide now to make his life a living hell, then hey, he had it coming, I guess, right? Even though I know the best thing to do would be to just leave it alone. I know.
he's gonna fail on his own if he keeps it up. Because really, who the hell wants to listen to that shit? Last night I had a headache. You know what I mean? Really, it was just like, oh man.
I know.
Hearing it. It's like I had to leave.
I know. I agree. Vikings fan 89.99. You're right, by the way. I agree with you. I did. But yeah, guys, listen, I appreciate you having me on. I'm going to go back to my show. If Josie comes on later or something, if I get off and you guys are still on,
Absolutely.
I'd love to come back on. But thank you guys for
one question for you before you run.
Yeah.
Does she know what's going on?
Who?
I know she knew what was going on. Shanna. Does she know to the extent of, or she just knew about it when it started?
She caught me doing research tonight, so I had to kind of let her know. But yeah, she knew since the beginning. Yeah, I haven't mentioned it to her for a while. She doesn't pay attention. But tonight,
she won't jump on and see it. She won't jump on and see the.
No, she doesn't pay attention to YouTube.
Okay.
No, every night she don't even watch my videos. So she stays away from it.
I don't think she's subscribed to you, honestly.
Probably not. Damn it.
Thank you. I'm sorry. But yeah, I will tell you if she comes on. And Tom says hello, and Tom says sorry for all this.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you guys speaking out on this
Absolutely.
subject. It's
Absolutely.
an important one. And, if Tom comes on later or Josie or anything, just text me. I'll be doing my show live. I'll come right back on.
And
We
I'll pop
support
on
you,
with
bro. We support you, and
We do.
I'm sure we'll talk more in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Shinebox.
Talk to you later.
Yep, I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Take me out.
Take it easy, Chris.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right.
I don't know what that meant, bullshit, Vinny, about what. I'm not sure. If he's saying bullshit about a wise guy sticking up, I was there.
Sorry, guys. Took myself out for a second. I clicked off the wrong StreamYard. Boston's Finest, $6.99. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So hopefully this is the last show that I will have to do about this. I meant what I said earlier. And Vikings fan 89.99 said in a comment on Vinny's show just now that I sullied my own reputation by even fucking around with this scumbag. And he's right. I shouldn't have done it. Nobody should align themselves with this guy. This is what's happening. And I think today, earlier this evening, certain people realized, oh shit, I'm making a big fucking mistake here by dealing with this dude. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully this is the last video where I have to mention his name at least for a while. I'm sure it won't go away forever. At least not until he's completely off YouTube. What do you mean, did he set me up? How? Tony Pizza's the real deal. You know how stupid you sound saying that? Keep saying it. FBS first one to approach about a sit down is the traitor. You probably got a point. When he was on Pap's show, what? No. After Pap's show, I think maybe some people realized they made a mistake by going on there at that point. You're right, mind someone else's business, I know. Yes, on what? Because he had you on night before, then he's liking comments, bashing you in the comments. Who? Tom? Sit down and organize crime podcast. F Tony. You guys want to see a quick reunion? You want to jump on for a second, Jeff? We'll see. Oh, all right. Yeah, I see that. Somebody just sent me a screenshot of one of my subscribers. That's right. At least he's not complimenting fucking Tony. What's up, bro?
There he is. Look at this. Oh yeah.
Who would have
Good to
ever
see
thought
you,
this
my
would
friend.
happen?
Man, it's good to see you.
Good
Love
to
it.
see you too, man.
Listen, I've said to you before, I think it's awesome that your wife cares about your hobbies, and fuck that motherfucker for talking shit about her. That ain't right.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And thank you for saying that. I see you got the blowout going on tonight.
Yeah, because you can't win with these fuckers on the internet about your hair.
Yeah, I know. Mario M 999, a super chat that came down with the raindrops. Nice Tony Pizza reference, and thank you for the super chat, my friend. Yeah, so we could talk for a minute about the elephant in the room, Jeff, in case people didn't see last night. I'm not, it doesn't matter what happened. We don't even need to talk about it. I'm not mad at you. You know what I mean? Whatever happened, it doesn't even matter at this point. The one that eventually wound up doxing me was Lee. That's no secret. I know he thinks he can kind of get away with that, but that's obviously what happened. So I'm not mad at you, bro. It is what it is. And, I enjoyed having you on before.
Yeah,
And,
I thought we always had good conversations, man.
yeah, absolutely. And you're doing your thing, and I'm glad to see it. You're good at what you do. So I'm not, there's no reason for two more people to be fighting or mad at each other. It's just not worth it.
No.
So everybody can spare me with the fucking, with the why you fucking with Jeff Nadu, and I'm sure he'll get the same thing about me. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm glad that that was one of the things that I was happy that I was able to do. Look, I was on that thing. We were on till like 3:30 last night.
Yeah.
And Lee's always just. I mean, he's just always kind of an odd guy. But I do care about. I think you're a good guy. I didn't want to address it. I wanted you to handle it. It was your thing. I just am glad we were able to work it out.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I guess maybe last night was the right time. I don't know, because we seem to have a mutual enemy, I guess, to some.
Yeah, for me, it's I don't have the same. He obviously has. I mean, he says little shit about me, but I just really don't like the kind of guy that he is. I think he makes excuses for everything. It's everybody else's fault why he's in this predicament. And it's just bullshit. It's wrong. If you want to call out and say things about things that you were in this and in that, you got to be ready for people to ask you about it. He just can't even have a conversation. It's fuck you. Who the fuck are you? You can't talk to me. I don't, he's a miserable guy, man.
Oh, he is, without a doubt. Somebody compared him to Oscar the Grouch. He really is. Like I said, you could give that guy a fucking $1 million, and not only will he blow it, but he won't even be happy that he has it to begin with.
Yeah, it's like, I heard you were talking about, someone went to get him a hotel, and he's trying to, figure out a way to, just send me the money, It's like, people are trying to help you, and it's like you make it so hard, It's everybody else's fault as to why you're in your position that you're in, And I don't know, like, it's weird because, like, the same people that he talks negatively about, the people that steal all the jobs, what are you doing with your life? Who are you? You're just a miserable guy in a convertible, brushing your teeth with a water bottle, like you just.
Oh, he doesn't brush his teeth, but I get.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But.
He pisses into a water bottle. He did that live the other day.
Wow. Yeah. But then, I also try to have some compassion, and for as miserable that he is, it's. I know when I get off the stream and I went and got my big bed, and I'm sure you did as well. And we all did, and it's like, you do feel bad for people like that, but it's like, some people, maybe they just aren't mentally there, or they don't have certain things, but he's an able-bodied man. He can go get a job just like anybody else, it's just pathetic, really.
Yeah, I know. And, there was a point where I almost did feel bad for him, but as I see that, it's just excuse after excuse and good money after bad, just blown on bullshit. But, the little bit of Lee's show that I did see today, I guess when I clicked on, this is where it was at because it was still live. He's sorry, I got distracted by a comment. He's saying that me and you, and I guess Shanna too, I think, are the reasons he can't get a job.
Yeah, I heard him say that. He's talking about how, these liberal millennials are the reason that he can't get a job. And it's like, well, he's one of these older guys that the only reason he's in the predicament he's in is because we've stolen all the jobs and we made everything woke. And it's like, well, no, we're willing to go out and work and do what we got to do, just like everybody else. It's everybody else's problem but his. It's excuse after excuse. And, he's got himself to blame for his predicament.
Yeah, and only himself, Jeff. Let's be honest. We all only have ourselves to blame for all of our circumstances.
Right. It's like if I go out right now and shoot somebody in the head, and I'm in jail tonight, I made that decision. I made the decision to go rob the bank. I made the decision to not get up and go to work. And when Friday comes around, I ain't going to get paid. He's an able-bodied man. He's got no problems. FBS, every fucking place on earth is hiring right now.
I know.
And you know what's crazy about working right now is you can dictate what you make because they're so hard to hire people.
I know.
You could say like, hey, you're going to pay me 50, but I want 20 if you want me to work. And they'll be like, all right, done. And we'll give you a signing bonus. It's like,
well, and let's not forget, he claimed to have had a job on Monday, the one he quit right after his lunch break. He called it his hour and 15-minute lunch break. So what's the next excuse going to be? Listen, you can't blame cancel culture because you're nobody worth being canceled. You can't blame millennials. There's jobs that'll hire anybody. There's a job you know of, Jeff, you probably know without me even saying the name, in York, not close to the Walmart and Sheetz and shit in East York, right? Yeah. That place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I worked there before for years. They will hire you, and this is true, if you're illiterate. They will fill out the fucking app. My friend, who is the director of HR there, filled out an application for an illiterate guy. Okay, basically all you have to do is be able to breathe and walk. Okay, yeah. And this guy, I told him, you could go there, you could get a job, $18.35 an hour. You'll get forklift certified.
He can literally, he has a car. He wouldn't have to have a boss. He could deliver DoorDash, Grubhub, and he wouldn't have a boss. He just picks up an order or two, makes some, just make a little, you could do anything. And again, it's not if he wants to live that way, fine. But, don't also try to flip it on everybody else. He's a guy that says shit. And then when people call him out and say what? What are you talking about? Fuck you, you fucking tomato head. It's like,
I know. It's crazy.
He's just he's sickened that people that are younger than him are doing better than him, and it's like, sorry, it's just not hard to do better than him, but.
No, not at all. Let me read this real quick. Bobby Burberry on $4.99. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Thank you very much for the super chat. Boston's finest, just giving the haters a reason. Thank you very much for that. $6.99. Excellent. Yeah, bro. I mean, honestly, I think he's got a 2002. So technically, if you have a 2003, you're doing better than him.
True.
It doesn't take much. But yeah, he likes to say that, like me, for example, that because this was Shanna's house that I moved into, that, that's the only reason, I have a place to live. Let me tell you something, Tony. I would never not have a place to live. Even if I had to live in a hotel, I wouldn't go a night without a roof over my head, as long as I'm a capable, able-bodied male, okay? I'll be able to fucking make a living, because that's what a man does. And, he likes to talk about who's a man and who's not. Bro, you can't feed yourself without donations from people, without handouts. And that's another one with the Republican shit is so funny. You realize that everything Tony Pizza is, Republicans fucking hate. They would like to
that's the weird thing about him. Everything's and that's Lee and those guys, everything's about politics to those guys. They're not where they want because of liberals. Liberals are ruining this country. It's like, well, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of shit liberal people do that's fucking stupid,
Absolutely.
But it's like, just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I'm a liberal. Doesn't mean I'm that's kind of where we are, sadly. But yeah, I don't know, man. He literally begs for shit And it's like, but you're talking about liberals that do that. So what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny when a guy who claims to be a Republican says stuff like that? Republicans are against everything Tony stands for. That's just how it works. So when a guy says something like that, it doesn't understand. It's like well, I don't want to use. I'll use a bad example. It'll get me in trouble. But Mustache Pete 499, thank you. He says if you listen to his story, people have been giving him a place to sleep since his 20s. He is chronically homeless and won't change. Exactly. Jeff, let me just ask you this honestly. Say you had zero, nothing. You're on the street. You got nothing but maybe a backpack with some stuff in it. And somebody hands you $10,000. What would you do?
I would go to the nearest leasing office, try to get an apartment. I wouldn't get a penthouse. I'd get a something to get me by, 1 bedroom. If I wasn't working, I don't really understand this kind of behavior just because, like, if I don't know how to just sit around and not do something. I'm always trying to find other income streams. So it's like, I don't really know how people behave this way, but yeah, I would, try to just save it for as long as I could. But $10,000. The problem is when you give someone like these people that kind of money, it's they just go out and buy stupid shit they don't need, and But yeah, I would get a place, and I'd try to just help myself. You go out and get the essentials that I need. Try to live a life somehow. You try to find a job, start saving the money, and go from there. 10,000 is a good amount of money to someone that has none.
Especially when it's getting handed to you in Florida, bro. For $600 a month, you could get probably a 2-bedroom apartment on the beach in fucking Florida. For Christ's sake, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I think the things that we're saying here, like, we're not. I don't think we're being out of reason here. Like, no. I think someone that is capable and able-bodied to go out and work for a living, to tell them they should go out and work for a living. Why am I the bad guy? Like, there will be people who say, you fucking idiot, you have no compassion for these people. It's like, well, yeah, he can go out and fucking work. Like, go out and work, bro. Like, everyone does it. Who the fuck are you and why are you so special?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's crazy that some people feel that the rules of life don't apply to them.
Everyone owes Tony. If you don't do, and I wish I could tell him this, but he's so loudmouth. He'll never sit there and just listen. And you know what? You know what he would say to me right now? You fucking liberal millennial. What the fuck do you know? It's like, well, you know what? I've learned a little bit. I know you've learned. We've all learned. So because I'm a little younger than you, I guarantee I've done a lot more than he has in his life. I'd rather be where I am than where he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's life is a lot easier than people make it out to be sometimes. Like, listen, you work, you get a fucking place to live, you repeat. You know what I mean? You work, you go home at night, you get some rest, you get something to eat, you go back to work in the morning. I mean,
life ain't that glamorous, man. Like,
no. And the funny part is he doesn't even have like the desire to make YouTube a business. It's just, he just wants the Cash App donations. He don't want no fucking monetization. He don't care. You could turn this into a whole fucking business, and he has no desire to even do that. If he has to put forth effort, he wants no part of it. No, I live streamed one of his shows one night where he was talking. He literally said, what am I supposed to do? Go work at fucking McDonald's for $15 an hour? I'd rather panhandle than work. I'm not going to work.
He is, it's just, and some of the things that he says, I mean, it's just so disgusting, vile. I mean, he doesn't realize we're not in the fucking 60s anymore, dude. You can't say the type of shit you say.
I know.
The way you talk. I would love to see him talk to a woman like that and they slap the fuck out of him for talking that way. Who does he think he is talking to people like that?
Well, listen,
women especially.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gotten his ass handed to him repeatedly in life, without a doubt. Gunsmoke the Don says he never worked a day in his life and urinates in a bottle, and people call him a stand-up guy.
And that's the sick thing. Weird. That's the real sick thing. It's like you have people that try to like they try to like make excuses for these people. Like, oh, he has a story and he's trying. Fuck that. I mean, he's a scummy guy. He's a miserable person.
Yeah, without a doubt. Tom Lochner, $9.99. Thank you very much. You guys are being generous tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like you can't even fathom more of a bigger low life than this guy. You know what I mean? Like he's sitting in the car, he's eating blue cheese with his hands, he's pissing in a bottle, he's picking his teeth with a pocket knife. You know what I mean? Like the fucking guy. It's like, where do we get this guy? The fucking Beverly Hillbillies? What is going on? How do you? That's another thing, Jeff. Listen. I was never in the fucking mob. I was never around mob guys. But I'll tell you one thing I know about the mob. People in the mob, these are guys that take care of themselves. They dress well. They might be overweight, but for the most part,
out of shape,
they dress well. A lot of these guys get pedicures, manicures, like they fucking
their upkeep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They maintain themselves, they shave, they look well. They won't trash women and do things like that. They don't act this way. They handle themselves like gentlemen. How could this guy be any type of street guy? I've never met a street guy like him. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, it's I said this before and I'll say it again. I know you were I will admit about you. The one thing you've always done and I respect is that you're willing to investigate people and kind of call out the people that, aren't checking, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So you talked about Ramundi, right? Everybody talked about him, his stories, obviously no one believed them, right? Because there was no proof of them. You couldn't find anything anywhere. This is the same guy, the same kind of guy, comes in, says he was in the streets, says he was doing this, doing that. And there will be something I'll say. I don't know. I didn't know him. I don't know where he was from, but I do know that there's got to be something out there on him. Have you found anything? And then if you ask him, you're a weirdo for looking him up. It's like we're fucking mob. We like to look up mob history. That's what we do. We like books. We like films. We like this is our hobby. Like people say, oh, you're a fan, but it's like, no, I'm just someone that enjoys this stuff. I saw people, they talk about the Gotti thing. He talks about that. I heard you mention it. I think it was you.
Yeah.
Go to you said it, go to any basement in America, or a man's house, there's going to be a Goodfellas. My father has one,
I know.
It's a classic film. Like John Gotti was a classic character, whether you agree with him or not. Like it's not that weird, man.
No.
I have Michael Jordan on my wall. I have Biggie Smalls. They're icons to me. I like their music. Michael Jordan is a fucking cultural icon, right? And it's like, oh, you're a fanboy. It's like, well, no, I just like this shit. It's history. Yeah. It's my thing.
I know it's crazy. Like you said, you could go in any man cave in America and you're going to find a picture, either like a Scarface poster, Al Capone, Gotti, something is going to be up. This is the kind of shit men are into. Right in front of me that you can't see, I have an equally big framed photo of the Phantom Punch. You know what I mean? Ali and Sonny Liston.
Some people like Star Wars. Some people like whatever, everyone has their interests. I think the thing about this, Chris, is that the reason he doesn't like you deep down, and I mean this, and I think it'll be the same way with me, is we are not going to sit here and hear his shit. And we're willing to say, you know what? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm going to look into this a little bit. Because nowadays, you know what you can do? You can look into a lot of this stuff. I can go on Pacer right now, the federal Pacer site, and I can look up any case from history. I can go on the BOP website and type in blah, 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 blah. Well, they have records back to, the 70s, I believe. You can go to each state and type in, hey, has this person ever served time here? I always reference Capisci. If you've done something in the life, no matter small, big, whoever you are, associate, whatever, Capisci will have you in there. If you were arrested with somebody, Capisci will write about it. Anytime I hear these people's names, I go right to Gangland, I log in, I type their name in. And generally, Like Thomas Uva, for instance. Wasn't even a mob guy. Did one thing. There's 6, 7 different articles about him.
Yeah.
Where he's from, who his family was. There's all sorts of shit about these people. The internet has everything. And if you've done something, you're on it. I guarantee you're on the internet. You type in Fat Bald Saying, something's going to come up. You type in Jeff Nadu, something's going to come up. Everybody's on there. Everywhere.
Everybody. Yeah. It's impossible not to be able to find somebody. And that's another thing with the prison record. There's no prison record. But you were in prison for 4 years. That's not a thing.
My thought is his name is different than he says it is.
Yeah, but I've tried every combination of names he's given.
Now, I don't know. Like, I don't know why you would pay to have your records like hidden. Like, I don't know what. Like, why would you do that? But then you'd come on YouTube and tell us how you're like this and that. Like, do you want people to know, or do you not want people to know? I don't understand.
Well, let's think this out too. So we got a guy who calls himself one thing, but has said that that's not his actual name, and that he had a different name before. But then you ask him what jail he was in, and he will not, under any circumstances, mention the jail or where it was or the exact dates he was there, anything like that. It can make you think a lot of different things, but at the very least, it'll make you think that he's just not who he says he is. For all we know, this fucking guy is Scotch Irish. You know what I mean? Or some shit. And
yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
I saw him, I think, I don't know where it was. I think it was Cane Shades. Asked him about this, like, hey, you said you did time in Florida, how come you're not on it? And, what he does is he'll just be like Lee carried the water and was like, why are you looking him up? Why are you looking his background up? And it's like,
of all people.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? Like, because he's on the internet and claims that he's this. Like, people like Cane Shades are trying to like understand who this guy is, because he willingly came on the internet. Why do these people think because when you come on the internet, no one's going to look up who you are, especially people like him? You say you're all this shit, people are going to look you up. I don't know why he thinks he's so secret. Like,
I know. Well, you hear the excuse. I was very stealthy. I was very. I stayed in the shadows. Yeah, right. Could you imagine this guy?
Yeah, it's just all weird. Like, he's stealthy and he was doing this and doing that, but he lives in his car. It's like, I don't know. I don't know any again, I don't know any gangsters, but like, I don't know of any that I know of that like were in that state of, like, have you ever heard of a gangster that was in the life that's homeless? I haven't.
Nope.
Like, there's always somewhere like that someone can help you,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and not only that, but you have all this family you talk about and stuff, like, and all these friends, and you were part of this life, and all these people love you and praise you, right? Why the fuck are you on the fucking street? You know what I mean? But you could see this is a belligerent dickhead. This is the type of dude that you could fuck him. You could bring him into your household. You could fucking give him silk sheets and steak and lobster 3 times a fucking day. And this dude will piss all over you. Every chance he fucking gets, he will throw a fit. If you gave him silk sheets, he would claim they were wrinkled. If you gave him some money, he would claim it's not enough. He would fucking complain, and he would throw a fucking fit like a bratty little kid. So I understand why, even if he does have a big family or something, none of them are fucking with him. They're not going to deal with him. You know what I mean? They're like, this guy's a fucking nightmare. Imagine having this guy over to a family dinner or something. Jesus Christ. He's fucking picking his teeth with a pocket knife, scratching his balls, like cursing at people.
It's like, whenever he's around, like, he's going to say like the nuttiest shit. And it's like, yeah, he's a mess, man. I won't say anything particularly nice because of the way he is and how he acts to people and how he's just so miserable to people, especially like your wife and just, I don't know, man. What's wrong?
Yeah, let me just look at this real quick because I have to. FBS, get Gunner on your show. You don't know what you're talking about, and he will explain it. Many gangsters are homeless, living in hotels and on the couch. Unless you snitched, your name will hardly be found.
God, that's just not fucking true, man.
First of all, if I were to ask anybody about gangsters, it wouldn't be Gunner. Okay, I know more about gangsters.
I just don't like. There are this certain minority of people that like. I've seen it on these chats where like they constantly put this filth out there. That's like, oh, if you were a gangster, there's a lot that got away with it. Nobody knew about it. It's like, no, that's not true.
Not
like,
if you were anyone of consequence. We know about you. And especially if you've been busted. The dude said he got busted in Utah with a fucking machine gun when he was on his way to kill Sammy Gravano. This horseshit story. No record of that? That wouldn't be the biggest news in the world. Oh my God, we found a hitman from New York trying to kill a federal, and the biggest federal informant in history.
Here's the thing about like most people and people like him. Like I consider myself pretty smart when it comes to like federal law and shit like that. So like when there's an indictment, let's say in the mob, right? Go look at a federal indictment. Okay? Everyone's listed. Everyone, like, no matter who, small, associate. I mean, I remember, go look at some of the mob charts now. Like, they include everybody. People that are, like, even, like, just friends of these people. Family. Like, they include everyone on these lists now. You mean to tell me he's evaded everyone? Somehow got away with it all.
The only mob guy in history we've never heard of. Yeah, like
it's like the problem that him and Ramundi have is the internet's too smart now, man. People are gonna go and look. They're gonna find this shit. That's why for me, like I've always tried to be truthful with who I am, no matter if I want to say it or not, because people are always gonna find this shit out, man. People are gonna spend the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, same thing with me, obviously. I embarrass myself regularly by telling the truth about myself, even though it's not it's not in my benefit to do. It's like, hey, at least this way you never have nothing to call me out on. You know, that's why I'm still waiting. Tony said, wait till you see all the info we got on you. Just give me one example, because you have nothing, not a fucking thing.
And that's why that's the thing, bro. Like if you are upfront about stuff that you like that you do or whatever, like and that's why when people say like I'm gonna get you or whatever, go ahead. If you can find something that I haven't talked about, go ahead. Like that's the thing. Like if this guy will make a video about me probably, and like I won't respond because it's like I've heard way worse shit. Like what are you gonna say? Call me tomato head? I don't care. Go ahead. Nothing I've said is not true.
He might bring out the big guns and say that you wear a wig, Jeff.
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, this is the same obstacle he ran into with me. There's really nothing you can make fun of me about when you're Tony Pizza. A lot of people can make fun of me. Tony's not one of them. So what does he do? He goes to my wife like a coward would do. And he even said that when he apologized. He even said, I got nothing against your wife. I don't know anything about your wife. But listen, I wanted to get at you, and you're better than me at this. You outclassed me. I'm not good verbally like you are. So I went after your wife. Yeah, real man you are. And now he does it again, and his fucking subscribers eat it up. Like, oh, look, he's going after Shanna.
And those lowlifes are just as fucked up as he is. You know, it's like, and like that guy Joe made a good point on Tom's show. That guy Bay 8th Joe. He was talking about like, how do you know like that? You know, her family's not like her brother's not a crazy dude and comes after you. Like he's just aimlessly talking about women and shit. Like you don't know people. How do you know these people aren't going to do something? And another thing, do you really think anybody that was in that thing, like, they're not going to come on a fucking YouTube video and be like, hey, I'm coming to find you. It's like, they're just going to show up and be like, you're going to see him and they're going to blow your head off. Like, he's like making a video. Hey, I'm here. Where are you? It's like some random patch of grass somewhere. Like, oh, yeah. Like, how do we know you're even here? Was he even near you?
No, hell no. Bro, this is what he did. If people can't see through this, they're fucking stupid. The guy was facing a bunch of trees.
Yeah, I remember. I seen that.
And he said, I'm in York right now, okay? That's all he had. Now, when I went to Brooklyn on Friday, I wasn't in Brooklyn 10 minutes before I took a video of myself at Spumoni Garden. So if
Yeah.
I'm in your city, I'll show you I'm in your city. He comes, he says to York City, and he faces a bunch of trees. Why was he facing the trees?
Yeah.
Because if he
I
was
would go to like the center of the city and like, go to Princess Street and take a fucking video or something, like.
Yeah, he wasn't facing. I mean, he wasn't facing anything else because if he was, we would have known he wasn't in York. So even that was such a con, and his people believe he was really here, and that's why when I called Nick that night and I said, "Okay, where's he at? I want to come see him now." Oh, he says he felt bad and he left. Okay, all right, yeah, of course he has to say
Drove all
that.
the way there just to leave.
Yeah, he had to say he left because he couldn't say I'm here, at this intersection, wherever, because I would have showed up live looking for him. And then we would have been able to prove he wasn't there. So he saved a little face by saying he left. Well, he hasn't really saved any face.
I think for me, like that would be the knockout punch. Like you do that kind of shit. It's like, yo, you drove all the way here. You're not going to meet me? Like that would have been the end for me. I'd have just been like, bro, you're a fucking clown, man. Like,
yeah.
But, when it starts getting into your, wife and shit, then it's different, I would have come back and said something.
Yeah. Tony Ducks. If he just talks about me, I don't care. I'll leave him alone. But now I might have to make his life a living hell. I'm more of a living hell, I guess I'd say. I don't know how further.
I don't know if he can do much worse.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that was a dumb statement. Tony Ducks. I'll say YouTube life. There you go. FBS, I thought you spoke to someone who said he was there. No, this is what happened. This is exactly what happened that day. He said he was in York. Okay, I think I was on live when I heard this. I said, okay, let me take a shower because I'm going to jail today. People can make fun of that all they want, but if you've ever been to jail, or at least York County Prison.
I'd rather take a shower at home than in jail.
Yeah, at least York or Lancaster County Prison. The bottom fucking line is when you get there, you're going to be put in fucking pre-class. You're going to be there for a minimum of 3-4 fucking days. You're not even going to see a shower anytime soon. If you go to state prison in PA, you're lucky if you get a shower 10 fucking days later in Camp Hill when you're being classified and all that shit. Anybody who doesn't want to be, go out of their way to be filthier than they have to be would say, fuck it, I'm going to jail and taking a shower first. Anybody who I ever knew that was going to fucking jail that day because they knew they were about to do something, that's one of the things you do, okay? You might want to spend a little time with your wife, certain things you want to do before you go to jail, okay?
Have you ever seen LCP, Lancaster County Prison? Have you ever seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Not a place I'd be wanting to take a shower, man. I mean, just a awful place. Same with York County Prison. Like, I get what you're saying. And I also asked him last night, I don't know if you were on. You may have jumped off, but I asked him, like, what's your end game here? Like, you really gonna like take a charge for like this? Like, what's the end game here? And he didn't respond, obviously, but
no. And I'm going to show you guys something because that's a good question. Remind me, Jeff, to get back. Well, I'll just do it now and then I'll get back to Tony Ducks. I want to explain the whole story of what happened that day. Tommy Agra, who said he went to Tony's in York? Now I'm going to show you what happens. And you guys can test this out. Test it out right now. I just Googled Italian restaurants in York. What's the first thing that pops up?
He just Googled that. He just did that as well.
Two Tonys. Exactly. It's the first fucking thing that pops up. So it's real simple.
He didn't even like scroll down and take like the sixth one. He just like takes the first one.
Yeah, he wanted to say he was somewhere. So he Googled Italian restaurants in York and boom, he got two Tonys. Isn't it a coincidence that's the one he said he was at?
You can tell when someone's saying they're somewhere, but you know they're not there. Like, you just kind of tell.
Yeah. So this is what happened that day. So after that, all right, I got off my live stream, took a shower, got dressed. I commented, and his scumbags know I did because they saw me in the chat. They were replying to me all day. Now, remember, he was drunk as a motherfucker in his car when he was facing those trees. And then he said, I got to go to sleep. I got to go to sleep because he was wasted. He had to pass out. So the whole time, that was another cop-out too. This way he could say we couldn't find him because he was sleeping. So The whole time I'm in his comments all day. Where are you? Tell me where you are right now. I want to come see you right now. Nothing, 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 nothing. I go to Jackie B's. You know Jackie B's probably, Jeff. Great fucking place. Me and Shannon go to Jackie B's. We sit down to eat. Finally, he comments back and says, I'm at Two Tonys in York right now. I said, okay. Me and Shanna ate our dinner. I said, I'm dropping my wife off and I'm coming. I would never bring her with me when I know I'm about to catch a case. So besides, she has to get bail money together and everything else. So I drop her off. I go out on my porch, all right, light a fucking cigar, and I call Nick. I said, Nick, I don't know this guy's number. I don't know how to get in touch with him. You do. I said, call this dude right now and tell him to tell me where he is so I can come there. Okay. Nick says, all right, but listen, you know, I don't give Nick my number. Nick doesn't have my number. So he couldn't call me back. I had to call him back. So he said, all right, just give me 15 minutes. I'm cooking. And then, you know, call me back in 15 minutes. I'll call him and see what's up. I said, all right. So I go to the store to get cigarettes and shit. And I call Nick when I'm leaving the store. Nick, where is he? Oh, he said that he saw the video you made earlier about how you felt bad, that he was in his car and stuff. And he said he felt bad too, and he's leaving York. That was the end of it. So he wasn't at Two Tonys, he wasn't at York, but let's just say he was. The end result was still him running for me and not the other way around. And even he admitted that when he apologized on my show. Go look it up. It's titled Tony Pizza FBS Sit Down. He said it in the apology. He said, yeah, I felt bad. So I just said, you know, he said he told Nick, I'm done, I'm leaving. Okay, so that's what happened. No, I didn't talk to anybody that said he was here. I talked to Nick and told Nick he said he was here and that I want to meet him. So that's the end of that. It was a pretty simple thing.
Sounds tough.
Yeah, and last night, Jeff, did you not hear me say, tell me where to meet you tomorrow? Pick a halfway point, I'll meet you.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
You didn't respond. Of course not.
That's wild to drive that far and then be like, oh, I don't know. I don't really feel like it. I'm going home.
I know, bro. He wasn't here. I just showed you guys. Google right now, any of you, Italian restaurants. And I didn't even know that till I just tried it. Google Italian restaurants in York, PA. First one, or in York. For me, it's York, but I'm close. So you'll probably have to do York, PA. Two Tonys restaurants, the first one that pops up. And it has the address. So when he commented, he said, I'm at Two Tonys on George Street. Okay.
But like there was literally no proof he was ever there.
No proof.
Outside of like the tree thing or whatever.
Yeah, none. Unless I could identify the specific trees and where they're located. And I don't have that kind of background.
Like, what if you really were like, yo, I want to see you? Like, I'm going to like, you know, like I said, the center of the city, you know, or where the York Revolution play or some shit. Like, hey, I'm at the stadium. Come see me. You know, like, no, he goes to like some remote area and faces his phone towards trees. He's like, yo, I'm here, bro. It's like, you know what I'd have said to him? Real shit. If I were you, I'd have been like, bro, I'm at blah, 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 blah. Come here now. I'd have beat him up right on my fucking front fucking lawn. I don't give a shit. Oh, yeah. Fuck him. You know, what a dickhead. What a dickhead. That story you just said, like where he came all the way there just to leave, it's like, what a fucking goof.
Yeah.
Wait, so you didn't know random trees? You weren't good enough to understand where in the world they were?
No, unfortunately, I never went to school for that, man.
You're not a forestry guy?
Nah. Let's see. Slug 619 is right. He took a picture of a pinpoint of that spot. That's all. But that's so easy to screenshot and pretend that's where you are now. Yeah, you could make that right now on your phone. You could do that.
Yeah, like also, I don't know if you know this, but like if you ever go on Twitter, you know how you can like share your location?
Yeah.
You can pick where you are even if you aren't there.
Yep.
So like, let's say I want to say like I'm in Georgia, like Atlanta, Georgia. I could say I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm not in Atlanta, Georgia. So like,
yeah, on Facebook, you could check in Egypt right now if you want.
And hey, I'm in Zimbabwe right now. Like, yeah. I'm actually in New York. Like, yeah.
Bro, it makes no fucking sense, man. I'm telling you, like, and people buy into this shit. They buy it. Bro, it's weird. I've never seen a cult whose leader is a homeless guy in a car who just drives around and talks shit all day. Like these guys are fucking.
It's like, oh my god, he's so edgy and funny. It's like,
I
no,
know.
he's not really funny at all, and he's just annoying.
Yeah, I know. Let me
People
see.
who just yell and scream the whole time. It's just like, bro, shut up. Like, can you just have a conversation like a normal person?
I know, man. It's fucking weird, bro. Like, for those couple of days that I got along with him, kinda, or I called a truce, whatever. Somebody said, somebody called me and was like, "You should interview him." I was like, "Interview him? You can't interview him. He doesn't shut the fuck up." What do you mean? You can't even get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
Look, Rick 6 ORT. Yep, Totoni's first.
Yo, wait, hold on. I'm gonna do it right now. Let me.
Yeah, do it.
All right, Italian restaurants, York, PA. Tony's, 108 North Shore Street, and it has the best rating, by the way. So
yeah, how about that? Isn't that fun? We don't. Hey, Tony, how about this? Show us a receipt or something for your meal.
Or just say, hey, Tony, take a picture of the sign and you out front, like, you know, hey, I'm here. You know,
bro. I'll tell you why I'd never do what he did because of this. I would never come to somebody's town, go on YouTube, say I'm there, and not show proof because I wouldn't expect a single person to believe me.
right?
You know what I mean?
That guy's so right. That is the saddest cult ever. It's like, it really is. It's like, that is really disturbing that like the leader is him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of car does he have?
I think it's like a Sebring or something. Or...
Like a convertible?
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Probably like a 2002 Sebring. Wow.
He bought it for 4 G's, and then according to him, he had to put 4 G's into it right away.
4 G's?
Yeah.
For a Sebring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you take a fucking, you go out, you got 10 grand, you go out and find the car, and you find the worst possible used car you could find. You just find the first car and you're like, boom, here's 4 grand. And then you drive away and it falls apart.
This is crazy. You can buy no bullshit. Is it like the worst car on the market? Probably. You can buy like a brand new Ford Fiesta for like 8 G's. Like, you know, it's like, but I guess that's the thing about used cars. Like really like hard up people, like they'll pay anything for like a shit car just because they need one.
I guess, but listen, I mean,
why do you buy a car though?
Like, exactly. I don't know. Like, see, this is not, he doesn't think like normal people. Like somebody called me earlier and they were like, listen, man, I know we shouldn't feel bad for him for being homeless because that's his own fault, but he is mentally ill. You know, there's something wrong with him. Obviously, he doesn't think like normal people. And that's true. There's no way around it. I mean,
you think really? You think he's like,
oh, he's off his rocker. Yeah, bro. One
like
minute he's apologizing to you. The next minute he's screaming at you. He's at the very least severely bipolar.
Okay. Because I didn't know, maybe he's like, I didn't know if he was like, and I'm not saying he is. I didn't know if he was like on drugs or something.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? Do you know the movie Into the Wild?
No, I haven't seen that.
Bro, you should watch that tonight. Oh my God. Into the Wild is an excellent movie about a kid named Chris McCandless. It's a true story, 100% true. This kid in like 90, 91, something like that, he decided, this was a rich kid. Okay. He just graduated from some fucking Ivy League school. And he hated his parents. He hated his home life. He even hated money because his whole life, that's all his parents cared about was money. So he decided, I'm getting rid of all my earthly possessions, every dime I have, and I'm just going to travel. That's all he ever dreamed of doing was traveling. So he fucking drops everything and he starts traveling. And a lot of shit happens. It's an amazing movie. But I read the dude's whole like background and everything. I'm just inquisitive like that. I got to know everything because I really love the movie. And I found out that he had a certain type of autism. And it made him like he wasn't able to stay in one place. Like he would befriend somebody on his travels and they would give him a place to stay. And like they would tell him, listen, stay for 3 days. He'd say, okay.
He's like transient. Like he likes to be like just like a migrator. Like
Yeah, and they were studying the psychology of this kid because he was autistic, and they said that like he'd get a place, they'd agree that he's going to stay there 3 days, for example, and then like 6 hours into the night, he would just disappear. They'd wake up and they'd be like, "Where the fuck did he go?" He would just take all his shit and leave. He couldn't. So like, I don't know. Maybe there's something like
a
that.
loner or something.
I don't know, man. It's very strange.
Dude, he told a story. Like I heard him today. He's telling a story about. Did you hear him like tell him that Chris Paciello story?
Oh God, no. I'm sure it was all wrong though.
Yeah, he was like talking about how he was at some event in New York or something, and someone like some really beautiful woman that like Chris was dating like was being harassed, and he used like a racial slur, of course. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I walked up to her and I was like, back off to these people. And she's like, you remind me of someone. You remind me of my boyfriend. He's like from New York. He's like, yeah, I'm Tony Pizza. She's like, no way. She's like, I know Tony Pizza. And he's like telling everyone how like she knew him and like, I don't know.
It's crazy, bro. I heard him say one of the first things I ever heard him say on YouTube is that in the movie Kings of South Beach, did you ever see that?
No.
Kings of South Beach is the movie about Chris Paciello.
Oh, really? There's a movie about him?
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg plays the cop that got real close to him.
No
Jason something, I forget his name, played Chris Paciello, but he looked a lot like him. He did a good job. Kings of South Beach. You can find it on YouTube, but it's broken into parts. And in that movie, they say Tony Pizza a few times. And the first thing I heard was, see, they said my name 3 times in Kings of South Beach. Well, I looked into it. The movie was not, 100% accurate, of course. It was based on the story of the murder of Judy Shemtov and, the Bath Avenue crew and Chris Paciello. And they literally just picked the name. It sounded like a mob name. So they were like, okay, well, we'll say Tony Pizza. Because it wasn't a character. It was just Chris Paciello like saying, hey, you remember Tony Pizza back in New York? But it couldn't be a more common. Listen, if you were to ask me off the top of your head, just pick a random mob name, I'd be like, I don't know, Tony Pizza? Like,
yeah. It's like, I don't know, Johnny Donuts. Like, it's like, I still, anytime someone mentions his name, I just laugh. Like, it's a funny name, I admit. Like, Tony Pizza. It's just like the weirdest. Like, why is his name Tony Pizza anyway?
Oh, I've heard different stories. Who the fuck knows? Honestly, I don't.
That's so funny that he says, see, they said my name a couple of times. Like, didn't he? He also says he knew that Peter Pasta guy, didn't he?
Yes.
You know that guy from the Gordon Ramsay show?
Yeah. Good night, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Yeah.
You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
That's
another claim to fame of his.
Yeah. And he used him or something. I guess Peter was like using him or something. I don't know. Louis Lasagna. Tony used to work for Louis Lasagna.
Louis Lasagna. That's funny as fuck.
What a psycho, man.
Yeah. Like, he literally paid Sammy to act like they know each other. He is an actor. He is a nobody.
Yeah, but like, let me ask you, if you, let's say you were in like Down and Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, Jimmy calls you. He's like, hey, listen, man, like, you're my friend. I know you from way back. Why don't you come here and live with me, or I'll get you somewhere to live and we can start doing some shit together. I'll help you out. Like, wouldn't you, like, he was saying that Sammy said he could come out in Arizona and like help him and shit. And he's like, I'm not going out to fucking Arizona and working for, this and that. It's like, maybe you should have. Like, probably would have been the best option. This isn't that your boy? Like,
well, I think this is what I think his problem is. He knows that anywhere he goes, anybody that gets him a place is going to require that he works. And he ain't having it. He just ain't having it. And you know what? This is why. It's just like I was comparing this to like the mentality of being institutionalized in jail. If you're a guy who all you've ever done is had money handed to you for free, what would make you ever be willing to get a fucking job? If you have no pride, no self-respect, none of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, hey, I could just go in the corner and people will hand me money because they feel bad for me.
Right.
Is this true? Really, Omerta? Holy shit! You see that, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, that could be, maybe it's a common name. I don't know. I don't know. It's not a real common name, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's it's weird because when a couple weeks ago, someone mentioned this guy to me, and I didn't know who he was initially, and then I started looking into it, and I was thinking like, I feel like I know a good amount. Like I didn't know who he was, but then I started watching his videos, and it's like, holy fuck,
I know, bro. I know it's crazy, man. Like, and
what's
this
that Netflix thing he talks about? What's that all about?
all right.
What would
So
you be doing for Netflix?
there's a girl named Sarma Melangelis. Okay, this is a real controversial person. She owned a place called Pure Food and Wine in Gramercy Park in New York, right? And she made a lot of fucking money. She was like the all the celebrities, Howard Stern, people like that went to her restaurant. She was like the ultimate vegan chef and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she wound up stealing all kinds of money from her business, from her employees. She wouldn't pay her employees. Then she went to some investors and said, hey, help me out. Give me 850 grand. I'll get everything back up and running. I'll pay you back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she just took the money and ran off with some dude. And they went and gambled and stayed in hotels and
Like a scam artist.
yeah. And she got in trouble. She wound up in Rikers Island for a little while. Her husband as well. And the only connection we know that Anthony or that Tony has to this girl is that she knew him because he would be on the corner, panhandling. He was always on the same corner, and she would give him some money every now and then. And he constantly calls her his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend. And they're doing a Netflix documentary about her called The Bad Vegan.
And he's like in it.
I think I'm assuming they interviewed him while he was on the street or something. You know what I mean? And this is going to
be his big movie break.
Yeah, yeah.
He's an ex-De Niro.
Yeah. Imagine if the people who made that film or if Netflix found out what this guy's on fucking YouTube doing every day, that would be the end of that fucking series.
Be a real shame if they found out.
Yeah, I know, wouldn't it? It's funny because Hollywood doesn't appreciate that kind of language and stuff that he uses, do they?
Yeah, they don't like that kind of cancel culture kind of stuff. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah, and that's Tony. Tony's the type of dude that'll come into your life and ruin everything for you, and then he'll just take off.
And then you get blamed for it.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the same thing like with Sammy right now.
Chris Canny says, you guys are geeks. Well, thanks for watching, Chris.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. We're cool enough for you to watch, huh?
Same with Dominic. Your podcast sucks. Well, thanks for listening to it, though.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for the view and the comment. Thanks for helping out my algorithm, Dominic. So, what was I going to say? Sammy. He claims.
By the way, that's such a great comeback for people. It's like, what do you think they say when you say that? Oh, I'm going to say something back. I'm only watching this because I want to talk shit. It's like, well, yeah, but you're still watching.
Yeah, I know, exactly. You lost already. I won. Thanks. So Sammy, he claims to have this relationship with. We have no proof that he has a relationship with Sammy. They know who each other are, apparently. I pretty much found out already exactly how that happened. It wasn't in earlier life. It was recent. So he had a short phone conversation with Sammy where Sammy pretty much embarrassed him by telling Tony that rather than talking about the mob or anything, that he should actually just talk about being homeless and interview homeless people and stuff. That's how this phone conversation went. Then the next time he talked to Sammy, Sammy hung up on him. And I'll tell you why. It's very simple. And they haven't spoken since, as far as I know. Sammy was obviously going to be notified by people, and he was, by several people, about what Tony's out there doing. Sammy's got a career. He's got an MTV deal. I'm sure he's got probably a movie or some other shit coming up.
Money, yeah.
He's got a business to run. He cannot be associated with a guy who's saying racist, homophobic shit every day.
Plus, like, if you know anything about Sammy, like, he's got his daughter's half, black, like his son-in-law's, her father's, like, he's not going to jeopardize. Like, he's about to work on that. I don't know if you know, they're making a show about the mafia cops, and it's like a big thing. Like, the guy from The Sopranos is producing it, and like he's a consultant on that. Like, he's not gonna, especially for some guy that just reaches out to him randomly. Like,
Yeah, and that's why Sammy hung up on him that night. I don't know if he realized that or not, but I think he might have, because 10 minutes later he jumped on my show and apologized. But obviously this was going to get to Sammy. People were going to make sure of it, and I think Sammy's just fucking done with him now. So it's just another bridge he burnt. The one person who could have helped him, who could have gave him some credibility, something, is now not going to fucking go near him because he's like, I can't be associated with this dude. I just can't.
I guess I'll just say it. I mean, he calls everyone a fanboy, but it sounds like he was kind of a fanboy, no?
Oh my God, yes.
That's
Yeah,
kind of what he
seems Sammy
seems like.
off every chance he gets.
By the way, did you hear I said that to him last night? He's like, no, Sammy. I'm like, that's not a fucking good thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. That's another thing. They're bragging about the biggest cooperator in Mafia history. And, he jokes about me having a Gotti wall behind me on my wall in my room.
Yeah, but he talks about how great Sammy is.
Yeah, he's probably got a picture of Sammy on his dashboard. Right? It's the equivalent. Oh, my God. He hates rat tube. Yeah, he calls it rat tube, but like Sammy. He makes no sense. He'll call a bunch of people rats, and then he'll just suck Sammy off for another 15 minutes. And it's like, bro, are you not aware of what you're saying?
He seems like he hates the mob genre, yet it's all he talks about. It's like last night on that show, he's mentioning like all these different people, and he's like, yeah, this guy, so and so. It's like, okay, so like if I let's say I lived in Newark, New Jersey, in like a mob neighborhood, and I would see guys like around and stuff. Does that mean like I'm with them because I know who they are? Like,
No.
Like it's such an odd thing. Like, oh yeah, I lived in the neighborhood, so like I'm definitely an associate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And listen, stuff does travel on those streets. It's just like back then in the 80s, something like that. When somebody got killed, the whole fucking neighborhood knew who did it. You didn't have to be
it's
a
like
mob
everybody
guy.
knows. Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like it is now. So it's not a big deal when a guy has some inside mob knowledge. That's funny. Look at Omerta. He's got to be just fucking being sarcastic there.
Wait, wait, hold on a second. What is it? Wait, FBS, what do you think is this whole thing about? Is he trying to be like funny? Or?
He's got to be. Yeah. He said, I think this dude is completely fake. Just got into YouTube to get some money for his alcohol addiction. Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. I think that's definitely what's going on here.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
I will say, though, speaking of like the mob now, you were talking with him, Black Handprint. I spoke to him. Like he put that video out about like the mob and how if John A. like did like the thing below Little Italy, like let's say he did it in the 80s, what do you think would have happened to him?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to like now, he's able to like walk around and do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
it's like he did a video about how like the mob is like just kind of dead because of shit like that.
Yeah, well,
and it's like this is the current state. It's like this guy is like.
Well, he talked about all that on my show, the show I did about Alpo, because we were discussing it. We were like, what happens? What happens now with them, with the mob? Like, does this send a signal to them that wow, we better tighten up a little bit and set an example like these guys did, or what? Because you know what I mean when I say, Jeff, that the way mob guys look at street guys in Harlem, they laugh at them. They act as if they're, a bunch of nothings really. But these guys did something they're not willing to do.
Right.
And they did it fucking well.
Like, let me ask you, like, I know for years, like if you claim to be in something like a gang that you weren't in, like that was some bad shit, right? Mm-hmm. So like this guy's just running around saying he's part of this, part of that. He was doing this, doing that. Like, I don't know. I feel like he should know better not to do that. But yeah, those are the kids that did that. I wonder though, like, was that? I feel like the people that Alpo was involved with are old now. Like that had to have been some kids, right? That did that, like trying to get some love or clout.
Who knows? Maybe it was Rich Porter's son or fucking nephew, or
the comments.
One of the other people he killed, one of their family members.
I don't know if you read, but like the comments about like they were having like parties and shit the next day. They're like, "Yeah, this is a great day for everybody here. We're so happy he's dead."
Yeah. Well, if you look into what he was doing too, first of all, he was still in witness protection. He wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
But
It's
they
like
said he
taunt
even had a
people.
vest that he was.
Yeah.
They gave him permission to wear in New York, and he didn't wear it that night. It's reminiscent of Tupac almost. And he was selling drugs again. He threw dope out the window, like. So I guess before it happened or some shit. So he was getting involved. He was trying to contact active people that are still hustling, that are kingpins and shit. He was going through middlemen and shit to try to reach certain people. I
And
know
he's
he
still
tried to
like
reach
walking
out to.
around taunting people like, hey, this is where this happened. This is where that happened.
Yeah. And they said he was pulling up on people. Like he'd go up to people and punk them and then to take a picture and say, show everybody, you know what I mean? How tough you really are. Like, what are you going to do? Like punking them in the street and shit. So
The worst.
yeah, I fucking celebrate his murder. Good for him.
People like that are parasites, man.
Bro, he killed dozens of fucking people. You know what I mean? At least 14.
And then he cooperated against everybody.
Yeah. He pled guilty to 14 murders, but imagine how many other ones he was involved in. You know what I mean? That he had. He was a boss, man, in the street. Like he was ordering fucking hits. He really was. In DC and shit, he was having people fucking killed, man. So
But hey, according to the government, as long as you find someone they hate more,
yep,
you can get off.
absolutely. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
amazing because Wayne Silk Perry, I'll never really understand why it worked the way it did, but it's a crazy story, man. And all I can say is good for him. He had it coming. At the very least, I don't even care that he's a rat. Just the fact that he was a mass fucking murderer. Like
You ever see The Wire or no?
yeah, a long time ago when it first came out.
I don't know if you remember in season 1 when they kill Wallace and Bodie's like, you should have stayed yourself down in the country. And he came back and they had to kill him because he started becoming a rat. Man should have stayed in Maine or wherever the fuck he was. You know what? He could have sold shit up there, man. Like if you're really gonna want to get back into that, like get back into it. But like you can't go taunt people and expect no one to settle a score, man.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. Let's be honest. Like we've heard stories like this before. Somebody like Alpo couldn't stay in Maine. He needed to be in New York. He needed that action, and he needed to be hustling. He needed that fucking money. There's a guy who sold drugs since he was fucking 12, 13 years old. Never went a day without something, without having something he wanted. He goes to prison 24 years. What's he going to get out now and work at Walmart?
Yeah, he couldn't leave. I mean, he was always that. That's what he was. But like, that's a wild place to send him. Like Maine, like that seems like the worst. Like maybe send him to like a little like Denver, like a little smaller city.
Yeah,
you know? Maine's like, fuck.
It's right there.
Yeah, and it's like brutal. Who would want to live in Maine? You know.
Yeah. Listen, lobster. You can eat lobster all the time.
True. Yeah, but it's like I mean, I guess I'm not. I don't want to say anything weird, but it's like it's not the most multicultural area in the world. You know.
No, I know. You would think an Alpo would stick out in Maine.
Yeah, he's got this big fucking truck with like, it's like maybe he should be a little bit more like.
You see the way those shots were grouped together, though?
Yeah.
That's not like they drove by and sprayed that.
Yeah, it was a professional. Like they ran up and he pried his window down, get a little air. Bro, that's one thing. And look, I'm not Alpo for Christ's sakes, but like I hate sitting in parked cars, man. That's one thing I hate. I hate going to the movies too. You ever notice like when you're at a movie theater, you're fucking trapped, bro. Like there's no way out. The exit are like below you. And you're like, it's hard, man. I hate like park cars and shit.
Yeah. Well, I was back into spots too. I don't like, what I mean? I like to be able to pull right out and shit. Like
and you can see around.
Yeah. I'm like that in restaurants too. I always face the windows or the doors. You know what I mean? Like I'm just fucking.
Yeah, because like if something goes down, like you want to like,
This is funny. Look at Kirk Davis. Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed because like I thought Lee actually towards the end of the show last night kind of like made a little bit of like a change, and he's like, oh, I'm not gonna interview Tony, I'm gonna be cool, whatever. And then the next day I see Lee, interviewing Tony. It's like
couldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
couldn't turn. And
Like
then
I thought you were doing like normal shows again. Like I guess
Yeah.
not.
And then while Tony's sitting there bashing my wife, Lee is just like,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? But listen, I'll stick to my side as of right now. I said I wasn't going to trash the guy. I'm not going to.
I always do like the one thing about him. Like I always love when he'll like know a comment's bad, but he'll like read half of it and be like, "Oh, I'm not saying that," and then like, but he still clicks on it and like highlights it. You know?
That's because he wants it to be heard. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. As far as the Alpo thing, listen, he had it coming. I don't feel bad for him one bit. Props to whoever did it. And
Yeah, I mean, New York is kind of crazy, man. There's all sorts of shit going down, so I guess it'll be hard to locate. You know, but the thing is about those kind of things, that guy's gonna want people to know he did that. So I think it'll come out sooner or later. But
yeah.
that guy will be a hero in jail, whoever he is. You know. So.
Oh, absolutely, fucking right.
It's like the guy that killed Whitey Bulger. You know.
Yeah. 2 pounds of heroin. They said, really? I heard it was some little bags. Jeez. Oh yeah, hell yeah! I've seen Clockers. That movie's the shit.
No, yeah, he did call me an atheist. Yes, I brought that up to him.
Let's see. Alpo sold drugs, abused women, killed at least 14 people, snitched in order to avoid life, came home to witness protection, then got back in the drug game, and Panisi chose to defend him of all guys. Yeah, that.
Oh, really? Did he really?
Oh, you didn't see that? I did a whole show.
I mean this. I love the mob genre. I do. I just can't get into watching that guy. I
don't watch him. Somebody emailed me the link and was like, "You got to see this." He's mad that people are happy about Alpo getting killed.
Oh, that's his comrade. That's his FBI comrade.
And you should have heard him. He was like, "Yeah, you know, you got to realize Alpo was somebody's brother, somebody's father, somebody's son." And I'm like,
"No way! I got to see that."
I'm like, do you know how many people don't have their brothers, fathers, or sons because of Alpo? What do you mean? He was a fucking serial killer.
Not to count the hundreds of pounds of drugs that he shoved in people's fucking arms for decades.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It makes no fucking sense for. But I guess listen, if you're in Panisi's position, you gotta, you know, maybe it makes him a little paranoid. He wanted to lash out a little bit. You know, he gets scared easily, so. I don't know.
Maybe he's like kind of worried, you know, like, you know, that had to open a lot of those guys' eyes. Like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be so fucking out there, you know?
Yeah. It could happen at any given moment.
Let me ask this. I don't understand. So how come he was actually like, so like all these guys that like Sammy and all these different people, they're obviously not in witness protection. They just live openly, I guess. So Alpo was literally in witness protection, like selling drugs. What a wild move.
Yeah. And that's what he was in. One of the reasons he was in Harlem. He was getting all back into that shit. Some people said he already had apartment buildings set up and stuff that he was using. So, you know, he was doing his fucking thing again, of course. And I wouldn't expect anything less from him.
Yeah, that's so true. Jane Creek says John Wayne Gacy was someone's son.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right?
Osama bin Laden was somebody's son.
Yeah, fucking Hitler was somebody's son. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I can understand, like, you know, I don't know, someone that was maybe not the greatest guy, but got killed. You want to like say that's a shame, but like, you're defending fucking Alpo Martinez, for Christ's sakes. Like,
I know.
Fuck.
And I just want to point out it's 11:46. There's still 200 people in here, and I think we were up to 240 at one point. For all the people that like to say that I don't get views anymore. And speaking of which, everybody please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and for the love of God, hit the notification bell. Yeah, I don't know, Jeff, but I'm glad to have you on again.
Man. Fuck yeah. Fun.
Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, everything's cool with us.
Cool.
And I'm sure we'll do some stuff.
Man. Love to.
In the future. What do you got coming up next on your show?
Well, we just did Donnie Brasco. Next week, what are we doing next week? Oh, Mad Sam DeStefano next week. Little Chicago. Weirdest guy in the history of the mob, for sure. A real psychopath. So
yeah, I've read a little bit about him.
Yeah, real odd dude. Did some weird shit. Peed in coffee and he'd give it to the police. Like just a weird guy, but yeah. So yeah, thank you, man. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's well. And it's nice to see you back around. Me and you doing some stuff. So let me ask you real quick before I let you go. So with
Go right
this
ahead.
this Tony, are you gonna keep like are you gonna move on from him, or are you gonna keep kicking up stuff with him, or what?
Listen, I'd love to say that tonight will be, because I said earlier today I'm going to stop after today. I'd love to say that after tonight I'm not going to come back out at him. I'm going to try. I don't have that
Yeah.
kind of willpower, as you can see by the cigarettes.
But hey, if he keeps shoving shit out, it's like you gotta defend yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just sit there and take abuse from the guy. And like I said, though, I'm going to be doing some stuff behind the scenes now, so I'm going to have fun.
Cool. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, Jeff, man. I appreciate it. And
see you later, buddy.
Yep. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Later.
All right, guys. He raped a woman in a full bar. Yeah. Yep. So, guys, I guess that's it for tonight. I want to thank you guys for being with me tonight and sticking with me. There's still 189 people in here, almost midnight. That's fantastic. I love you guys for all your support. All you guys that have, thank you, Luigi, for all you guys. What? Oh, she's good. She's good. I didn't understand what you were saying at first, Johnny. She's good. I'll say hello. So, yeah, thank you for everything. And for all you guys that fucking look out for me in these other people's chats and always have my back and always have kind, encouraging words for me and shit in my comments and stuff. I love you guys, and it means the world for me. To me, I don't take you guys for granted for a second. And I love you all. So hit the like button, please. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And for the love of God, hit the notification bell. All right, guys. I love you all. I'll see you next time.